hear? Well, the Prime Minister said in the middle of the summer, he said there's a political crisis. And there's a parliamentary stalemate. And I have no choice but to call an election. The only problem with that analysis is that Parliament actually doesn't sit in July and August. And that this was a manufactured event, not a real event. And so anybody analyzing the situation would know that Mr. Harper has twisted the facts, has told Canadians something which simply isn't true, and then called a snap election just after Labor Day in the shortest possible period of time, 5 weeks, October the 14th. And why is he doing it? Well, he puts on his blue sweater, not this nice gray one, but another blue one, trying to look as relaxed and friendly as possible. I figured he's not the only guy who can look relaxed and friendly. I'll try it too. We'll all go around wearing sweaters, look as cuddly as possible, as very friendly. And you know, when you think about it, this is a man who has twisted the truth in order to win a government. And he said, at the opening of the campaign, oh, no. He says, it's going to be a minority anyway. And my daughter was watching television with me that night, and she said, Dad, who is he kidding? He's already got one of those. He's already got one of those. So anybody in Canada who thinks that, oh, Mr. Harper's called an election because he wants another minority government. Hello? Come on, what does he take us for? He's already got one of those things. Mr. Harper is trying to snatch an election. You even reached the point where there were puffins pooping on our leader. And this was supposed to be funny. This was supposed to be a statement of conservative policy. What was it? Puffin poop. Well, I think we should give the same response to Mr. Harper. Every time Mr. Harper comes out with one of his whoppers, I think we should simply respond. When Stephen Harper says, believe me now, even though I was lying when I said that we were going to protect income trusts, what do we say in response to Stephen Harper? That's more like it. And when Stephen Harper says that there was some kind of a political crisis that forced him to call the election in the middle of the summer when Parliament wasn't even sitting, what do we say back to Stephen Harper? That's more like it. And when Stephen Harper says that he's going to withdraw our troops from Afghanistan in 2011 when he didn't even keep his word on when there was going to be an election, what do we say to Stephen Harper? That when Stephen Harper decides that he's going to accuse us of wanting to take money away from women and mothers of children because that's the Liberal policy, and we know it's not the Liberal policy, what do we say back to Stephen Harper? And when he comes to the Canadian people and says, oh, all I really want is a minority because I like working in a minority government so much and I get along with people so well, what do we say in response to that? That's more like it. That's what we have to start doing in this campaign. We have to start addressing the Canadian people and start making a little bit of fun with this guy. Because there's not a word of truth or sincerity that comes out of his mouth. This is a party that is the product of a reverse takeover. A reverse takeover of the old Progressive Conservative Party by the Reform Alliance group. That's all it is. And, you know, it is not Grandma's Progressive Conservative Party. You know, Bill Davis, this is not your cuddly Bill Davis and your warm and friendly Robert Stanfield Progressive Conservative Party. This is a party that believes that essentially the federal government should be an army and an ATM machine for the provinces, and there should be firewalls around all the provinces between the province and the federal government. It's a party that believes that health care has no place on the federal agenda. It believes that child care has no place on the federal agenda. It believes that housing has no place on the federal agenda. It believes that social justice has no place on the federal agenda, to which we say, yes, it does. And we believe as Liberals that it's time for the federal government to be there and present and willing to act on behalf of the citizens of Canada. That's what we're proud of to say. This election is as critical as any election has been in the history of our country. This election is as important as any that we've seen, because we have never had as ideological a government as the government that we have. This guy makes R.B. Bennett look like a flaming radical. He makes John Diefenbaker look like a bleeding heart. He makes, dare I say it, Brian Mulroney look like a relative progressive. This is the most reactionary government we have ever had. John A. Macdonald wouldn't recognize it. Robert Borden wouldn't recognize it. Lizzie Borden wouldn't recognize it. Now I know still out there are still some people who say, well, you know, why wouldn't we vote NDP? And I know something about this theory. I can tell you about this theory. And I can tell you, look, it's not because NDP are not bad people. It's not the issue. The issue is fundamentally it's a party of protest. There will be a group of us out there. We will be a group of us campaigning, because I can tell you it takes a group to run a government. It takes a lot of effective people to run a government. It's not a one-man show. I mean, you all know the story about Stephen Harper taking his cabinet out for dinner. I've told this on a number of occasions, but some of you may. As long as there's one person who hasn't heard this joke, I am going to tell this joke. And Harper goes out with his cabinet, and the waiter comes up to him and he says, yes, Prime Minister, what would you like for dinner? And he says, I would like a steak. And the waiter says, well, what about the vegetables? He says, they'll have steak too. We have a team. We have a team of thinking people. We have a team of effective people. We have a team of thoughtful people. We have a team of dynamic people. We have a team that wants to make a difference.